evening. We'll call the village board meeting to order with the, please. Really?
Not on.
Can you hear me now? Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the clerk call the roll, please? Here. Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Here.
Here. Need a motion to approve the minutes from the village board of September 23rd.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of September 23rd, 2025.
Thank you, Nancy. Can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on those minutes?
Yes, I have a comment because actually one of our citizens called me and noticed that it only lists the people who spoke in opposition to the data center. It doesn't list any of the people who spoke in favor of it, and it doesn't list their addresses.
It does have it.
We will review that and correct.
Yeah, that's just my point.
Yeah,
To
thank you.
make that corrected.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are carried. Public comment, 2-minute opportunity for every citizen to voice their opinions to the village board. Village board cannot respond as it may conflict with open meeting laws. We have a list, I believe. Paula Pintar, welcome back.
Good evening, Board. Paula Pintar, 7348 Botting Road. My comments are to address board responsibilities. First, I want to thank the members of the board who held true to their office and did their due diligence for the citizens of Caledonia regarding the data center meetings. They became informed on the facts of the issues and concerns brought forth by this community and did not bow down to Microsoft's marketing pitch. Secondly, regarding next steps, the situation has coalesced this village and energized a solid group of residents. We have developed an active network, relationships, and formed new friendships. We therefore are committed to requiring sustained government accountability. We will remain vigilant on the actions of this village board, planning commission, and the Special Comprehensive Plan Review Committee, keeping transparency and accountability a high priority. The Special Plan Review Committee is called to uphold ethical and responsible planning reflecting current data, community values, emerging trends that support smart growth, resilience, and high quality of life. I have concerns that this will be upheld. I have concerns this will be upheld, not be upheld due to the lack of how this group of individuals was selected. One of the main tenets included in the committee's scope of work is to provide emphasis on achieving a diverse and representative membership drawn from various stakeholder groups throughout the village. It is known that an attempt to meet this unbiased member selection was disregarded and opted out for the village chair to make the member selection. Therefore, in my opinion, this approach forgoes any transparency and disregards achieving a diverse community representation on this committee. Please know that these concerns will drive changes to occur with the next Caledonia Village election.
John Pintar? Evening, John.
Evening. John Pintar, 7348 Botting Road. As this village may consider other options for the Microsoft data center, I would like to point out that none of the questions asked by our residents and some of the trustees have not been answered. I'd also like to thank those village trustees that have the courage to ask the difficult questions on behalf of our residents and themselves. That is real leadership. As for those who are willing to disregard the people's voice, A strong contingent of residents will make sure that this will be remembered. I have read how data centers throughout this country have created more questions than answers. I am concerned about the effects on our environment, groundwater, and Lake Michigan. The companies that build these energy devouring entities are like locusts coming in, consuming our resources, and moving on to the next town or city, leaving our community to live with the relentless noise, traffic, and the visual eyesore that was once beautiful green farms and woods. Towns and municipalities that have had data centers built in their communities report less than a third of revenue promised. If you would not want this in your own backyard, I ask you to encourage them to please look elsewhere. Thank you.
John. Michael Moore.
Michael Moore, 1014 Hialeah Drive, Caledonia. I'm here tonight as a private citizen, not as a member of the Plan Commission. I'm here to scold probably 3 members of this village board. Speaking out that you don't have information. I don't think this is gonna, I don't like this, but I can't control it. You know, it's probably gonna go. And calling people names on Facebook. If you want to, people want to call me names on Facebook, pick up the phone and call me, okay? Not to call me names, but to talk to me. So, anyway, this whole thing with Microsoft, if anyone went to that meeting that Microsoft held for information, you found out the water, how they're going to cool the chips, what type of cooling system they're going to use. Generators are not ran maybe once a month for testing purposes or when power is out. They are not a constant thing in this situation. Groundwater, they're going to be on city water, which comes from Oak Creek. And so any water is an issue with Oak Creek. It's not an issue with the village of Caledonia, and they're paying for every gallon of it. They're extending their own sewer, no cost to the village. For years to come, we would have had revenue from the Microsoft people. And if you think that data centers are going to go away, they're not. They're going to be everywhere. They have to be, because every time you pick up your phone, every time you stream a show on TV, all this stuff goes through a data center. No one is, going to be immune to it. As far as Caledonia having it, you just kicked the gift horse in the ass. And I'll tell you, you're going to have a hard time filling the industrial parks in this village once all of the industry that wants to move to our industrial parks finds out that we're not welcoming. And we haven't been for 75 years.
Mike, your time is up.
And I would like to make one comment. When some of these board members were on, back when I was still working for the utility, Botting Road, Old Oak Lane, Acorn Lane, Hazelcrest, Majestic were thrown out of the sewer service area. Guess what? You drive by any of those sites today and you can smell sewage.
Mr. Moore, wrap it up, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mike. Chris Atkinson. Evening, Chris.
Chris Atkinson, 6205 Highway 31. Wanted to continue what I was saying at the special planning meeting about your question as to why nobody shows up to these meetings. And I've spoken with a lot of people in the community, and the consensus seems to be resounding and repeating the same thing over and over, that the people feel like they do not have a voice, that regardless of what they say or the input that they provide, the decision committees that were appointed through methods that we don't agree with make decisions to advance things regardless of what the people say. There was a 5-to-1 ratio against sending this data center thing to the board, and yet it still made it there. And a lot of people are looking at the associations of the members on the board and questioning whether or not there's cronyism, questioning whether or not there's a boys club. And I'm questioning why were the other board members not informed about the data center when it was known 3 months ago? There's people in the village who knew about this and chose to hide it from people on the board, including you guys, and from the people. If we would have more answers to questions that we have, we wouldn't have this perception that our voices don't matter when we come to speak, regardless of the numbers that show up. And the people that are trash talking, you know, the people who are against this on the board, people that sit on the commission that are speaking specifically against community on how they're reacting to this, that's a shame on them for what they're doing, because the people have a right to express their opinions without being criticized by public officials. And I think that you should communicate within. We'd like the facts as to what exactly happened. We want a timeline. There's no communications from We Energies, the greatest benefit factor of this entire thing, and we didn't hear from them, yet you guys were willing to push this forward with so many unanswered questions, and I think we would have had a yes vote had had common sense, one of you, not actually heard some details. So
Chris,
we're
your
looking
2
for
minutes is up.
we're looking for more from you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer Berg. Good evening.
Jennifer Berg, 6001 6 Mile Road. I'd like to thank Microsoft for listening to our community and our neighborhood and deciding this was not an appropriate location for their data center. There are other areas that would be appropriate for it, and I'm extremely concerned that we could change our land use plan that did not fit anywhere in this whole community, this country of states, to have such a large facility. And I'm worried about what We Energies might do again. All that land used to be homes and farms and was torn down because the land was condemned. The wells, people couldn't live there. So I'm just extremely concerned about the 2050 land use plan and the continued zoning and how this could go by so fast without people knowing in advance what's going on. And I just want to make sure how the community is going to be able to be in communication and find out what's going on in advance. I want proper commercial, but not in a neighborhood area. We do have the industrial parks, as Mr. Moore said, no one will come here. No, it is zoned. The property is zoned properly, and business can know they can come here. But I don't want them to think that just because they make up a decision to do something that they're going to ruin a whole neighborhood and a community atmosphere. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Jill Bookman. Evening, Jill.
I'm Jill Buckman, 6508 Running Horse Road. I'm here tonight to address a lack of professional conduct among two individuals acting in service to our community. While there may be no specific state or village statutes defining the expected behavior of appointees or board members, the public comments and actions of two individuals representing this village, Michael Moore and Roger Torkelson, are unbecoming of village representatives and raise serious questions about their capacity to serve. So I guess I'm here to scold you, sir. Planning committee member Michael Moore made public statements on a news interview asserting that people should be doing whatever they want with their property. Does that mean that I don't need to follow any rules? Maybe he's suggesting no zoning rules, or was that simply for Microsoft? This viewpoint fundamentally opposes the very purpose of which the planning committee that he serves on, which exists to ensure orderly development, protect property values, manage infrastructure, and resolve conflicts between private property rights and public welfare. A representative who openly rejects the foundational principles of planning cannot objectively execute the committee's mandate. His stated position should disqualify him from service on this body. Special Planning Committee volunteer Roger Torkelson has engaged in unprofessional behavior on social media, making multiple unhinged posts that include personal attacks against community members and labeling those who disagree with him as disingenuous hypocrites. This pattern of attacking constituents and exhibiting a lack of basic civility is simply not a good look for someone working to shape the future of our community. A representative must be able to engage with all representatives respectively, engaging those, especially those with differing opinions, to foster constructive dialogue. His behavior demonstrates a profound lack of temperament necessary for public service. So I urge the village board to restore integrity to this process and its membership by addressing the lack of professional judgment and adherence to the principles of planning shown by Michael Moore and Roger Torkelson. Their public actions demonstrate the lack of temperament and respect for the law necessary to serve. The board should demand their resignation or remove them from their positions.
Thank you, Joe. Valerie Lancelot. Evening, Val.
Valerie Lancel, 108107 Mile Road. Tonight, I had planned to bring 2033 signed community member petitions to the village board, all saying no to rezoning of A2 land with the Microsoft Data Center. Thanks to the diligence of community members and to the trustees who asked difficult questions, we were able to show with facts that this was a bad idea for that land and a bad idea for Caledonia. I first learned of the rezoning when I drove down Botting Road. I began digging then into the 2035 land use plan, and well, we all know what happened next. I want to thank the board sincerely and the board members that specifically spent time with me during the community meeting. You all let me share my experience and you shared your opinions with mine, so I really do appreciate that. We as a community need to do better. While it's normal to review the current land use plan, I learned that from Tom, and to consider creating a new one like the 2050 comprehensive land use plan that's being developed, it's not acceptable that a significant initiative such as this has appointed members. I urge the board to please reconsider the composition of this special comprehensive plan review committee. Upon close review of its current memberships, it appears that the committee is weighted in favor of development, which could lead to decisions that risk reducing land designated as A2, agriculture, open space, and rural residential, and risk the very character of our village. A more balanced committee would ensure a fair representation of diverse perspectives and better safeguard the interests of our community. Thank you for your time.
Jerry Lynn Burkeville? I don't know about that.
Geraldine.
Geraldine. Sorry, thank you.
Geraldine Barkdale, 5147 Pine Tree Circle. First of all, I'm very happy to be here today with the results from Microsoft. As far as for moving forward, because I definitely think that's everybody's goal is to move forward, regarding future projects, okay? All projects need to be economically feasible, and we can all agree on that. That's for first and foremost. However, profit should not always be the overriding factor. Placing economic gains or financial savings at the forefront of decision-making leads to significant environmental and human health costs. We gain a better sense of the full cost of doing business when the impacts on the people and the environment are included. So I'm just urging you moving forward with other proposals that you take the time to do the homework the way that a number of the people sitting behind me have done regarding the Microsoft plan, so that when you think about your decision, you have all the education that you need regarding dotting the I's, crossing the T's, before even moving forward with something like that. And I also want to say I am thankful I've got a lot more friends here now because of all this, so I'm glad that this happened. Thank you. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Prescott Blotch. Evening, Prescott. I don't know about that.
I'd like to thank the trustees who kept an open mind, asked tough questions, and talked to residents over the last 2 months. While some may disagree, I think we came to the right conclusion, albeit in a wild and stressful way. We should, however, reflect on what happened, as I'm sure there's unanimity that it got too heated and emotional. We should never need 4 police officers in an informational session. This proposal was too big for residents to find out about it by stumbling onto a rezoning sign on Botting Road. We shouldn't have been in such a hurry. We should have had a communication strategy with the residents to bring them along, solicit their feedback, and find a way to the right answer without acrimonious debate. The village staff, the plan commission members, the property owner, and RCEDC all got as much time as they needed to speak. Residents, however, got to string together 2-minute speeches to make their point. The residents are the village. Some of them have valuable expertise. All of them have opinions, some of which can be crazy, no doubt. They should all be heard. In the end, this seemed like something we were about to do to the village, not for the village. Controversial initiatives like this need a different approach, one with significantly more discipline in planning, communicating, and executing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ron Coots. How you doing, Ron?
Ron Coots, 609 Kentwood Drive. I'm here to speak on the budget issue. On the 22nd, you had a budget review. I went through that, looking at everything. I had some concerns that popped up. One of them is dealing with Crawford Park. You know, if you turn around and you put this beautiful park in, you send out a questionnaire to all the citizens asking them, what do you want in the park? They came back and told you pickleball courts, basketball, everything else. And now I'm understanding the board's going to cut back. You got a piece of equipment that needs to be put in this park coming up in the budget. And it needs to be put in if you're going to keep the park as beautiful as it's supposed to be. But think about the past park, how a disaster it looked when it was destroyed. If you keep on backing off on some of this stuff for that park, it's going to go, we're wasting money. You're talking $10 million in the future, it's going to be nothing. The other question I have, first I want to thank Holly for your input. The other question I have, TID, that is a thing that kills me so much, is tax instrument district. We have 6 or 5 of them already on the tax, and some of them, like tax district 1, won't expire until 2044. 4 won't expire until 2044, and 6 won't expire until 2044. And the other one's 247 and 231. The reason I'm bringing this up, the burden falls on the taxpayer. These are things come in, they're supposed to help the village. We're not going to see any money from this because they're off the tax roll. We won't see nothing. I won't be around to see anything. And so all of a sudden, now you take the burden, you put the burden on the taxpayer saying, guess what? We need fire equipment. We need more police officers. We need more highway. You know, there should be something in the when you come up with these negotiations, when new business come in, they got to dig in their pocket. You know, you sit there and put the burden on. Next thing you know, I know with the fire department, they're looking to revamp a fire engine. My background as a firefighter, you take a piece of equipment that's old and you try to refurbish it. Thank God I don't live out in the area out where they don't have water. You know, if you try to hope that a fire truck will show up and you get something else, you may not even see a tanker show up or take care of the fire. Or a police officer's got to take care of a lot of these TIF areas and support. And, you know, we just don't get the money in the highway department. I know I'll be at the budget meeting. I'll be there to complain. But like I said, I think this is about time the board needs to look at and stop doing this TIFing and just. And if they can't pay their way, don't bring them in. Thank you.
Mr. Streeter. Good evening.
Good evening. Bill Streeter, 4835 Ruby Avenue. Well, Caledonia, we dodged another bullet. The Microsoft Data Center is the 3rd project that I remember that would have been a disaster if it was built in the proposed location. The proposed Walmart site, the Dollar General store site, and now the proposed behemoth Microsoft Data Center would all have disfigured the essential character of Caledonia permanently. For those who say some of us are against bringing in business and industry, Caledonia has 2 business parks in Western Caledonia, and the Douglas Avenue corridor has welcomed new businesses such as Starbucks, Culver's, and the O&H Bakery. The abandoned Kmart building continues to sit vacant and would be a fine place for development congruent with the zoning in place. Caledonia is a green community between the burgeoning development of Milwaukee County to the north and the city of Racine to the south. We must work to keep this green buffer community and only locate businesses and industry where it fits with our identity. Thank you.
Okay, that exhausted the list of people that signed up. Does anybody else want to speak to us tonight? This lady right here. After you're done, would you sign on to the? Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Marcia Bueller, 3695 Newman Road. I think I speak for hundreds, if not thousands of us, when I say that Caledonia residents breathed a collective sigh of relief when Microsoft pulled out last week. I am proud that the community came forward and pulled together to fend off this terrible project that would have negatively affected our lives in so many ways. And in the process, we learned that at least 3 members of our village board do not care what their constituents think, and they do not seek to educate themselves about the risks and potential consequences of their decisions. If nothing else, this debacle was a wake-up call to the community that some of our leadership does not represent us and will, in fact, throw us under the bus, so to speak, to cater to special interests. Mr. Weatherston, I will address you directly. You have clearly demonstrated your disdain for your constituents and the land use plan. It is apparent that you consider it an obstruction to your ideas for this community, ideas that do not align with the people that live here. Many of us told you that we chose to live here because the land use plan provides security, that we can know where commercial businesses will be located and how the land is designated for other uses. You have single-handedly appointed an advisory committee to recommend changes to the land use plan. You rejected the suggestions of several of your fellow board members, and it appears to us that you have stacked this committee with loyalists who will rubber stamp the changes you want. Need I say it? You have lost the confidence of the great many residents of Caledonia. I call upon you to disband this committee and create a transparent process by which members are selected from all parties who would be affected by any changes to the plan. I also believe you owe it to the residents of Caledonia to resign from the Plan Commission, along with the loyalists you appointed to that committee. With you at the helm, the Plan Commission has lost credibility. We all saw how you allowed Microsoft to make lengthy presentations while the residents were shushed and timed out. The whole long evening was a formality for a decision that had already been made. Those of us who have had to adhere to all the strict building requirements in Caledonia were shocked that a development of this size and scope was allowed to slide by with no real plan or specifications. I will close by saying that we, the residents, have learned a lot from this episode. We have learned that we need new leadership and that we must be vigilant to protect this little piece of rural paradise that unscrupulous special interests would seek to gobble up and destroy. We do not want that, and we will be a formidable force if this board continues this pattern of lack of transparency around development. Thank you.
Well, we normally don't speak to comments, but since you decided to pick on me, I want to make the record clear. The Comp Plan Special Committee is an ad hoc committee. They don't have power to make any changes. The only thing they're doing is reviewing and putting together questionnaires and yes, my neighbor. Yes, 2 of my neighbors. One of them was on the Comp Plan Committee 20 years ago during it, and so I thought he was really good for that. The other neighbor is that Exact opposite of me, totally politically the opposite of me, which is why I put them on there. So let's stop interrupting me. Let me finish. That committee that you're talking about doesn't have the power to change anything. All they have to do is, they're putting together surveys. The surveys will go back to the planning commission, and then from the planning commission to the committee of the whole, and from there to the village board. There are a million steps in between that. The problem was getting people to even volunteer. It's about a 2-year study. 2 years. It's going to take a long time. Is there going to be changes? I don't think so. I think the comp plan we have is fine. But there might be minor changes, minor tweaks, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to come out of that 2 years from now. It's a long, drawn-out process, and it has absolutely nothing to do with Microsoft or any of these other things. So we keep putting these two things together. They're not connected. Totally not connected. Now, as far as Microsoft goes, it was this guy that called Microsoft and asked them to withdraw. This guy, the guy you're blaming for all your problems. I went to them. I went through the county. Some of us were worried they didn't get notified. I went to Ralph Malicki and asked for them to help me ask Microsoft to withdraw from that piece of property. I never thought it was the right piece of property, but that's the dish that we got served on. Well, I don't care what you heard. It's wrong. I never said that. Never said that. Matter of fact, I sat here and listened to every one of you with my mouth shut, not making any comments. I did not make any public comments. I didn't comment on Facebook like everybody else did. I kept silent on purpose. So if you want to blame me, you go ahead and blame me. But you're mixing two different committees together that are not associated. And you got a guy sitting right here that personally called Ralph Malicki and said, help me turn Microsoft off. Now, you can believe me if you want, but that's the truth. Now, does anybody else want to make comments tonight?
Kim Hoover, 8220 Foley Road. Leadership is choosing others before yourself. As you just spoke to us, you said that that's what you did. Funny that you bring up Ralph Malicki, because I have an email being drafted to Ralph Malicki based upon his talk radio interview of how shocked he is that Caledonia doesn't want and that that Microsoft pulled out based upon what the residents vocalized to the board. It's very concerning to me that trust and transparency with this entire village board is gone. The Planning Commission is a joke. And frankly, this special land use plan, you can say it's not relevant. It's very relevant. Had I known about
it wasn't relevant. I did not say that.
You're saying that they're not connected. Had I known about the land use plan, I bought my house based upon the land use plan. I bought my prior house. I did my research when I moved to Caledonia, and the land use plan and it being changed is very concerning. And had I known about it, I definitely would have raised my hand for 2 years of commitment to that, because it's very concerning to me that We Energies still owns this portion of land that they promised us residents was going to be a buffer to spare my house, to spare my well, and to spare everything that I've worked for. So yes, the land use plan is very much connected to Microsoft. It's very much connected to many people's life decisions that we've made. So surveys are surveys, but the reality is that I'm pretty sure that I'm one of the people that actually does read the meeting minutes, and somehow I did not catch certain things that were talked about back in July of 2024. That's on me, because quite honestly, I would have never thought that that land was going to be developed. Had I, you would have been seeing me for the past year. But you will continue to see me.
Wonderful. Thank you. Would you mind signing the log? Anybody else? Yes, Mr. Wishaw.
In all fairness, I'm not here to defend or criticize anybody. As far as the Comprehensive Plan Review Committee, I requested that my wife be assigned to the committee, and Tom put her on the committee. So, you know, and I agree with him, there's always problems getting people to serve on committees. But my wife is on the committee, and she does represent the rural area. Again, I'm not defending or anything. I'm just saying he did put her on the committee when I asked her to. So, all I have to say.
But how many people in this room wanted to be on that committee and were not contacted? Look at the hands.
Yeah, sorry, but we're getting off the agenda.
Yeah, we're
I
off
don't
the
know how
agenda.
far we can go. I know, but you can't say that and then ignore the fact that I proposed, for example, 5 highly qualified people, all of whom I asked if they were willing to make that commitment, and they were, and you didn't contact any of them. So,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you, Elaine.
I agree.
That's okay.
Thank you, Elaine.
It is on the
Okay, any other public comment? Anybody? Going once, twice? Okay, moving on to 6A, ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 2025-12 to amend zoning districts and zoning map adopted under Section 16.2.3 Code of Ordinances for the Village of Caledonia, approving a request to rezone 42.05 acre parcel from A3 General Farming District 3 to District A2 Agricultural District for parcels located in the northwest corner of 4 Mile and Nicholson Road, parcel ID 104-2221-04200, Village of Caledonia, Racine, Wisconsin. Helding and Club owners went through the Planning Commission on a 5-0 vote on the 29th. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-12. And so the audience understands, this is a sort of a legacy zoning district. We've redone the zoning district, so it doesn't change the uses, but it goes from A3 to A2, but it doesn't really change the uses. It's just.
Thank you, Fran. Can I have a second?
it.
I'll second it.
Any discussion on the motion?
Yeah, if I can follow up with Pete, because we talked about this at planning, and I just want to make sure I got my head correct here. I understand the legacy cleanup, but when I looked back at something today that I was reading, was that the A2 is meant more for residential and agricultural than the A3? Am I got that mixed up, or?
That's incorrect. The A3 was a category created by the county, the county zoning. It was actually a holding district for future development down the road. By switching it from A3 to A2, A2 allows as our general farming district, which allows all the typical agricultural uses that are allowed in A1 as in A2. And it also does allow for residential development. You can either put one single family or one two-family dwelling in an A2 district. And you could do that in the A1 district as well.
Thanks.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2025-070, approving a request for a conditional use permit to allow the construction and operation of a 73-unit senior living apartment building for the property located directly east of 5333 Douglas Avenue. Alf McConnell, applicant, Alfred G. McConnell Trust Agreement, dated August 5th, 1993, is the owner. Can I have a motion on this item, please?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-070.
Thank you, Nancy.
I'll second it.
Dale, any discussion on this motion?
Yeah, I do want to clarify something, because when I was on the board, I think when it came up initially, I'm not sure if this is the same building. There was an issue with one proposed building that was too close to the lot line, and I just want to be sure that that's not the building we're talking about.
Mr. Wagner, can you handle that?
Yes, the parcel that's in question here, I'll bring it up on the location map so that way we can see what it is, if you could.
I think this is okay, but I just want to be sure that it's not, because I think the setback for one proposed building was less than it should have been, and there were issues with neighbors.
Yeah, friend, there was a time in the area north, there's a farm field to the, where'd it go? Friend, I think you were talking about the proposed apartment complex that was to the north, closer to the 4.5 mile road. This is a odd-shaped parcel that is east of the medical clinic along Douglas Avenue, and then the existing Parkview apartments that are currently on the site and the parcel to the east. The area in question would be the rectangle in between the medical clinic and the Parkview area. The weird shaped trapezoid along Douglas Avenue is actually zoned commercial for future commercial use. So it's split zoned. It's RM1 multifamily in between the two existing buildings, and then it's B3 along Douglas Avenue. So what's being requested tonight is a conditional use to extend the conditional use, allowing the property owner the opportunity to begin construction of a apartment complex or building that would not exceed 73 units in size.
Thanks.
My
Did you have a question?
Yeah, just real quick. I remember talking a couple years ago with some of the residents on 4.5 Mile regarding this. There's no water drainage issues because it's further. I think this goes off of Fran's, what we were talking about with the lot line, because I know a lot of the residents were concerned about water issues back and
Yeah.
flooding in their backyards.
That was with the development further north.
Okay.
In between the farm field, in between the existing residential homes and the apartment complex. So the runoff was a concern for that northern development, but that has not been considered tonight.
Okay.
I would just say to Mr. McConnell, thank you for coming back and keeping this project moving forward. It will be a benefit to us.
Let's vote on it first then. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank
Okay.
you, Wilf. Thank you for being here. Resolution 2025-71, approving a request for conditional use permit to construct 4 self-storage buildings on a parcel located at the southwest corner of Storage Drive and Quick Drive. Sam Motter, owner, John Greenwood, applicant. Can I have a motion on this item, please?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-071.
Thank you, Nancy. And a second.
Fran.
Did you, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Fran.
Yeah.
Fran did.
Any discussion on this item?
No, I think it went through planning with some good
Yeah,
discussion.
it went through plan 6-0 vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2025-72, approving a request for a building site and operations plan to construct 4 self-storage buildings on the parcel located on the southwest corner of Storage Drive and Quick Drive. Sam Molitor, and owner, and John Greenwood, applicant. Can I have a motion on this item?
Make a motion to approve 2025-072.
Thank you, Mike.
I'll second it.
Yeah, is there any discussion on this item?
This is tied to the previous one, right?
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
They're different, they're separate buildings.
Right.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2025-73, approving a request for a building, site, and operations plan to construct and utilize a .241 acre ground solar power array at 8332 Northwestern Avenue. Sean Curry, applicant, Racine Unified School District, is the owner. This went through the Planning Commission on a 7-0 vote. Can I have a motion, please?
Move to approve Resolution 2025-073, and I think this is so they're going to have solar power for the school, I think.
Apparently.
That is correct. There's having a solar ground array to the east of the school building for renewable energy.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2025-74, approving a request for a building site and operations plan to expand an electric vehicle charging station at 13712 Northwestern Avenue, Village of Caledonia, Racine County. Philip Johnson, applicant, Pilot Travel Centers LLC is the owner. Can I have a motion on this one?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2025-074.
I'll second.
Was that Nancy?
Yep.
Any discussion on this item?
No, but they do seem to be charging the cars out
I
there.
guess so. Well, you live over there.
I
you see
do.
Cars plugged in? Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2025-75, approving public participation procedures, amending the updated comprehensive plan for the Village of Caledonia. Can I have a motion on this item, please? I'll make the motion then, and we'll get to talk about it. Kind of a second.
I'll second it.
Is there discussion on this item?
Yes, I have some
Go ahead.
comments. Pardon?
Go ahead.
Oh, you know, I do have a problem with the way that this committee was selected. I'm going to read from what the description was that Pete gave us initially. Initially, it was going to be 7 members. Now it's 11. It says representing various stakeholder groups, including but not limited to residents, business owners, civic leaders, environmental advocates, developers, and institutional partners. The problem is I have no idea which category any of the people that were selected for that committee are in. So I have no way of assessing whether that is in fact a representative committee or whether it was chosen for a particular viewpoint. It really does trouble me. I'd like to be in favor of it. This just makes it difficult for me. I proposed 5 extremely well-qualified people, all of whom were willing to volunteer and understood that it was going to be a 18-month to 2-year commitment. And none of those people were contacted, or if they were contacted by email, when they responded, they were never contacted back. So I do have a problem with the composition of this committee. I think it's not transparent. There's been no identification of why those people were selected. Who is the environmental? I don't know what stakeholder they are. And the other thing that bothers me a little bit here is that it says stakeholders, including but not limited to. One category is residents. The residents are paying for it. The people that are paying for this study have one category here. So when we say stakeholder, it's not even clear to me what stakes we're talking about. I understand businesses, but I don't know who's representing what. So I can't vote to say yes on this. And my other problem is that when I looked at those minutes, it's like 14 pages or 20. It's a whole lot of information that we got on Friday that I didn't even have time to read through.
Thank you,
So I have problems with it, so I'm going
Right.
to vote no.
Thank you. Todd, did you have something?
Trustee Martin, the item on the agenda is the public participation plan. It
Know
has
that.
nothing to do with the special committee, whether they were appointed or anything like that. Do you have any comments for staff related to the public participation plan?
Yes, it's that how am I to have confidence that the public participation, which this committee is going to listen to and supposed to summarize, how am I supposed to believe that that's going to be transparent when I don't know why those committee members were chosen? That is my comment to staff.
The public is the stakeholder. This is the plan that allows us to disseminate a survey and utilize any method to get public participation.
The surveys were, I saw the initial survey.
The survey has not been approved yet, and it will be in front of the Plan Commission at the end of the month. This is the plan to be able to get information in front of the public so that they can be an active participant in the update to the comprehensive plan.
Holly?
Can I clarify? You're asking us how we would like to get this information in front of the public, i.e. a website, a QR code? Is that what we're asking?
It is listed within the plan here as to how we're going to engage with the public and various stakeholders to
Okay.
get the information so that then the Plan Commission can make a determination based on chapters, goals, and objectives related to the update.
Tom?
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Nancy, did you have
Yep, I do. I think when we look at this as a public participation plan, it does talk about the Special Plan Review Committee directly in there. Looking at some of the things are on here, I have had discussions with different staff people. I've been to the meetings. As to how you're really going to go about doing a fully comprehensive plan, I don't think this represents a good, solid communications plan. And I'm not saying anything that I haven't said to anybody on staff or on this board particularly. There are good ways to do it. We do know about the granular level that the previous one went to. There's a lot of people who have said, why can't we do that again? And I haven't heard a good answer from anyone as to why we can't go that way. I absolutely have to agree that the makeup of the committee doesn't even have people who are good at communications and public outreach. They may have other reasons to be on it, but they're not showing capacity in that area. So I think there's challenges from, yes, going back, but again, if this is the public participation plan, it could be far more robust than it is.
Anybody else? Mr.
Wait a minute, you did?
Wishaw?
Hold on.
Todd, did I hear correctly that the survey has not been issued yet and it will be at the Plan Commission meeting? Is that what I heard?
It is
That
my
is correct.
understanding that it will be at the Plan Commission at the end of the month for review by the Plan Commission. The advisory committee does not have the authority to create
I understand
all
that.
those
Okay.
things.
I wasn't sure. So it's going to be at the Plan Commission and then comes to the
to
board?
us.
Right.
Will
And
not
so
come- it
in
will not
order
come to the
to
board.
be able to keep things moving forward, the first thing that goes in your comprehensive plan is a resolution authorizing a public participation
Yeah, I
plan.
understand. I
So this
understand.
is the first step.
I understand. Okay, so we will have input on the survey is my point.
The Planning
Yes.
Commission will first.
Ultimately, yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
So when we did the subcommittee did their survey requests and updates, they asked for certain changes, but that subcommittee will not see the formatted before it becomes for planning. That's just the way the process is playing out.
Mr. President, if I may, so if the board is not happy with what is proposed in front of you, then now would be the time for you to suggest amendments to that public participation plan and to discuss possible amendments. So if you're unhappy with what's being proposed, now would be the time to do that before you set the public participation plan. Or if you have further in-depth questions for staff about what is laid out in front of you, now would be the time to ask.
Ally?
Peter, Ryan, can you pull this up on the screen so the audience knows what we're talking about? So basically, if I'm understanding this correctly, it's that we came up with a plan on how we want to get the public input into this committee for the future. And so I think if you look at the second page, we're looking for ideas or approvals on how to get communication out to the general public, out to the community, in order for you to have input on this process. And so this has nothing to do with the committee right now. We're asking if this process looks good. And to me, I think the group has covered all the different objectives and ways to communicate with the members of the community. You have social media, you have workshop sessions, you have public hearings. These are all ways that we as a board can engage with the community and hear your input, and also our city employees, our village employees as well. We did this with our parks planning when we came up with our $10 million plan over 10 years that we spoke of earlier. You know, we had people at Milligers, we had people at the beer gardens. That's what this is. That's what they're asking us to do right now, is approve the different ways to communicate with the public, not necessarily the committee itself. So there's two separate things. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that this is a good starting point. I think that it works, and I approve of this as it's written right now to get it moving forward, I guess is the way we're looking at it.
I think it's a little hard to say, sitting here right now, I can come up with a change of plans on the fly. That wouldn't be fair.
I have the same problem. I mean, we got this on Friday, and that's too early to make in-depth critiques of it, other than what I've indicated. I will say that one member of that committee told me that she had offered to personally hand out the survey and was told she could not do that, and that the only people who could hand out the survey would be our planning director and or his assistant. So if we're talking
survey has
about
not been
getting it all
approved yet.
out, that seems improper to me.
But if I can go back to, I'm just looking at the plan as presented. I'm looking at the activity, purpose, target office, and timing. Timing just has early stage throughout the plan. It's very generic. It doesn't really give us a solid timeline of saying at 6 months we want to be here, at 12 months we want to be X. This leaves a lot loose.
That is by design.
And that's where I have my issue, and that's just me having a profession in this background. It's not the way you go, the best way you can go about coming up with a plan.
If it was too specific, it would eliminate other opportunities that may present themselves for us to present data or get information from the general public.
You can put target dates in. This doesn't even have target dates. That's my point of view, and I'm only one of 7.
Any other
But-
comments?
I guess is this just being a preliminary way to disseminate information and get community feedback? I would be hesitant to install, especially because we're not even in agreement on the committee. So I would have hesitations to put in timelines until we have a more established guideline on how to proceed with this. And so I think they're just looking for general.
No, that's not what this is. If you read the documents, they're asking us to sign off on this as is.
I would also add that this has been out there since the last Plan Commission meeting for anybody to see and review.
I'm sorry, yes, Mr. Brayshaw. I didn't see the wave.
That's all right. I did read through a copy of the original. This is a very preliminary survey, and no offense, but I thought that some of the wording was directed at getting a desired result.
Well, the survey has not been completed yet.
I understand. I
This is a
understand
plan
that.
for-
That's why I'm asking if we'll have some input, because like I said, some of the questions I thought we're actually trying to get a desired result, and I don't think that's what we should be doing. So as long as we have some input on that at some point, I'm fine with it. The other thing is, I understand we're potentially going to use this, or distribute this survey at a couple of locations. Is that correct? Where would that be in here? I don't.
It's right here. Go up one page.
Yeah, but where does it say it's going to? Social media platforms, local, I'm saying we're going to collect survey data from meeting with people face to face, from what I heard at Milliger's and maybe a beer garden. Is that correct?
I will let the planning director answer that question.
Sure. When it comes to that, those are for pop-up events where we're working with soliciting information with SWOT analysis, that's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We carried a similar exercise with the Special Comprehensive Plan Committee. We also conducted that at the beer garden, not a survey. It is the SWOT analysis, which is also going to be conducted with the Plan Commission as well as the Village Board, is a similar exercise. That's different than the survey. The survey was going to be an online survey.
Okay.
So that's a little bit different. And the reason the online survey hasn't been disseminated yet is because it hasn't been reviewed by the Plan Commission.
Okay,
And
I
so
just
that's
want-
where we're getting, yep.
Thanks for clearing that up, because
Yeah.
I want to know how that's going to be disseminated, because if we're just going to go to 2 locations, that's not a very scientific.
No, not at all. I would agree with that. That's not the plan. The plan of the pop-up events are to try to go out to where people gather in the village. And so the 2 that were identified at this point was the beer garden out in Franksville, as well as the Milliger's Farmers Market over on Douglas. So those are the 2 venues that we're looking at. We're also looking at possibly going to Rasa over the soccer complex, where a lot of families congregate on weekends for soccer tournaments and lacrosse tournaments. And so we're looking and trying to identify. And that's the reason why this plan is a general plan, because we want to have some flexibility in order to identify. If I said, in November, I'm going to the farmer's market, and for whatever reason, I can't make it. Now it's like you didn't follow your public participation plan because you said in November of 25, you were going to go to this location. So the identification of the different activities and means of communicating to the public are left in a very generalized area, so we can accommodate any variables or changes or opportunities that arise, that we can reach out to people and to get information, solicit information. And so that is in addition to the pop-up events that you heard. That's not how the survey is being disseminated. It's going to be online, and we can provide you more details on that as we get closer to
Okay, so
getting that approved.
it says here that we're going to have a village website posting. So I guess I'd like to find out, when we get to that point, how we're going to notify people, because not everybody goes out to our village website, but we do have an option to notify people of meetings if they so choose to sign up for that option on our website. Maybe we can disseminate it that way as well. I don't know. When we get to that point, we need to discuss that.
You want to
Right,
use
and then,
technology?
and then this plan, we don't want to get to that level of detail because we haven't been able to, identify what all the opportunities that could be. Right now, our social media and our website are going to be the two main dissemination points. And clearly, you know, the social media does have an impact on being reached out into the community. And so, you know, that is one major push that we're going to have. Also, there'll be opportunities we're contemplating working with our consultant is using QR codes and having them posted in various locations throughout the village. It could be at like Mocha Lisa's, the Starbucks, O&H Bakery, Pick and Save, Douglas Diner. And so, and I know not everyone uses QR codes. I'm learning that as well, that not everybody wants to use their phone to scan a QR code. You know, but we're looking at doing that. If, you know, I had to tell you, I'm going to use a QR code at this location between this time, and we fail to do that. I don't want this plan to be thrown at, you know, at this process, like you didn't follow your plan because you missed this date, and this date. So I caution putting timelines, you know, going back to what's being discussed on the agenda tonight, which is the public participation plan, is that we have this because we have to require this by state statute. You know, if we don't have a survey, we don't have pop-up events, we don't have press releases, we don't have, you know, public meetings, you know, we don't have any neighborhood information meetings. You can, you know, that's what we can say. Hey, you said you were doing all these ideas and you didn't do any of them. I don't want to be tied to a particular time throughout the process because I think that it's going to tie the hands of the consultant as well as staff in preparing the update to the existing comprehensive plan.
That sounds to me like doing a strategic plan with no dates. Yep. That's just me.
Yeah.
One of the things that's on here is, and again, I'm looking under public notification, village website. You've commented, we don't get much activity on it. I think your idea of using technology to have another way for people to connect that's a great idea. Local newspapers, well, that's a pretty much dead dormant if we're talking about papers. We've got some digital ones. Social media, that's great. We don't get that much traffic on our website. I mean, our Facebook pages here could be better. Public bulletin boards. I don't know the last time I stopped in the grocery store and looked at a public board. There's other ways to do it. We look at Milligers. We look at the beer garden. Almost 70% of their people don't live in Caledonia. They will tell you that. They're great draws, but that's not going to get us significant. I don't see things on here like identifying who are the community groups that exist in this village. Let's talk about the Snow Kings. I mean, finding out who those people are, who's meeting. What about the Historical Society? I mean, we haven't identified our own community partners, if you will. We're just kind of in isolation. I understand you don't want to say that on December 1st of 2026, we have completed everything, but we can put target dates in. It is our goal, and we can change goals as we need to.
Mr.
Okay,
President.
so we do
Mr.
have a motion
President.
on the floor.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
we do have stuff in here to engage with those stakeholders. It's under focus groups, pop-up event, or stakeholder interviews. That's also part of the normal process where you can talk with a number of other stakeholders or individuals in the community to gauge their feelings on where they would like things to go in the future.
Okay, I have a question about that. Who decides who the stakeholders are or the officials are who are the target audience? Is that the special committee that decides that?
No.
Or who decides that?
I mean, part of that could come from the special committee, part of that could come from staff, some of that could come from the plan commission. If there's people that the village board believes are important stakeholders, we could certainly engage with them and they can let staff know so that they're engaged.
What if we, to add to that, what if we put some sort of accountability mention inside of this to say that every 2 months or every month, the board gets an update and it's on the agenda and we have an opportunity to provide input of groups or the different events that are planned or the different events that have happened so that we can take it to the community within our own groups too.
You're asking if we can put in an
Like
item on
something
the
in
agenda
here-
to give
No.
an update on where we
An
are with
item
our
in this
public participation?
document that is basically saying a frequent update once a month on the agenda or once every 2 months on the agenda where we call it the planning, what is this? The public participation plan update. And then the board gets some insight.
We could do that on the committee of the whole under committee
There,
updates.
okay. So then at that point, you tell us what's planned. You say the public has the opportunity to come to the committee of the whole and put some ideas out there and say, hey, we have this group, this social media page, we have this going on. And that way, we're holding all of us accountable to an update.
So I guess that raises a question for Elaine. Legally, and I don't know the answer to this, can we have a forum that if people show up at a COW meeting and it's on the agenda where the public can also comment as to what they think at that point, or is that a no-no?
Certainly under the public comment for that particular body, they could make comments. But if you're going to have a more substantive discussion
Right.
versus just sort of a report out, you should list what that specific discussion is. And so it might, in terms of planning your agenda, if you know there are certain events that are going on, you could have F1, 2, and 3 and indicate what those are. Now, in terms of allowing the public to comment at those specific items, it wouldn't be a public hearing. Typically, these are items of business before the committee of the whole. So you normally wouldn't take comment at each of those items, but that would be up to the body and in particular up to the chair.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Holly, did you want to?
Can I make an amended motion to add that in?
Yeah, but hang on.
Okay.
'Cause I'm good with that, but is included, I think that's what Holly said is a good idea, but does that include the possibility that members of the public could say, there's going to be a gathering at wherever, and we said, we'd like to have the QR code there, so that the public can also add, it might be a homeowners association meeting, it might be a church gathering, it might, any of those things that we wouldn't, sitting here, or that special committee wouldn't know about, but that does bring in the public.
So that would be part of the meeting though, right? Like, so that would be part of the public to come to us and say, hey, we want it at this.
Yeah.
So if I can make a motion to approve this resolution with an amendment to add a, what do we want to call it? An accountability update on a monthly committee of the whole agenda.
Could just do a
Bi-monthly.
public participation update.
There you go. On a monthly agenda where it's an agenda item
Okay.
for
And-
an update
On committee of the whole.
on the committee of the whole.
And then
Once
at
a
that
month.
meeting, members of the public would be free to come and say, there's this gathering or that gathering.
During
Correct?
public comment, yeah.
They could under public comment, and then staff would give an update on where we are in the public participation process and listen to the public comment and know where we're supposed to take the QR codes or who wants a QR code. I mean, the QR code will be relatively available to anybody, whether it's on the website or the postcards or posted anywhere. But yeah, we can make sure that the QR code is available for the general public.
And people could disseminate it wherever they wanted. In other words, if somebody wants to copy the QR code and talk to their neighbors, I guess they could do it.
You could literally do the QR code on your phone and
Yeah.
take it and send
That's
it
what I
to
mean.
by email or
I didn't get a
message to anybody that you're interested in
So we need,
participating in that.
we need a second on Holly's amendment.
I'll second that.
We have, was that you, Fran? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. President, if I could confer with village attorney, do we need permission from the original motion makers to do that? No.
No, we can vote the amendment separately. Is there any further discussion? There's been plenty. Okay, so we'll vote the amendment first, which was the Holly's amendment to have public participation on the committee of the whole or public
Once a month.
comment.
Once a month,
Once
yeah.
a month. Would you do a roll call, please, to make sure we get this right?
Sir.
Thank
President
you.
Weatherspoon.
Yes, yeah. Great
Trustee
idea.
McManus.
Yes.
Trustee Wishaw.
Yes.
Trustee Lambert.
Yes.
Trustee Pierce.
We're doing the amendment.
Yes.
Yes.
Trustee Martin.
Yes.
Trustee Spillman.
Yes.
Right, now do we go back and?
Yes,
do
now we'll go
the-
back to the
Aye.
original motion, which was the approving of public participation procedures. And so,
As amended.
as with the amendment,
just-
so would you do a roll call on that again, please?
Wait, what are we doing now?
The original motion to approve the public participation procedures.
As amended.
As
As
amended.
amended, okay.
President Weatherspoon.
Yes.
Trustee McManus.
Yes.
Trustee Wishaw.
Yes.
Trustee Lambert.
Yes.
Trustee Pierce.
No.
Trustee Martin.
You know, I'm still a no because I just have
All right.
problems with the, anyway.
All right, resolution carries. Thank you, everybody. That was a lot of great input.
Stillman said yes.
Someone said yes.
Oh, so I'm sorry. Did we forget Dale?
I didn't get to him.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It still carries. Thank you, Dale.
Sorry.
Don't leave Dale out.
I know, I'm anxious to watch the Brewers win.
I know.
So let's,
No, we're not gonna end the meeting. Okay, resolution 2025-76, resolution approving certified survey map, unnumbered at the time, waiver to 1415G3B, lot size ratio exceeding 2.5 to 1 for parcel ID number 104042221042000, located on the southeast 1/4 section 21-T4N R22E, Village of Caledonia, Racine County. Can I have a motion on this item, please? This went through the planning commission 7-0, by the way.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2025-076.
Second.
Sorry.
Holly and Fran.
Holly and Fran.
Fran, thank you. Fran, any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2025-77, approving a sole source purchase request for the Crestview Lift Station Pump Replacement. This also went through the Committee of the Whole at a 7-0 vote. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution 2025-0787.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this item?
I second.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes.
no, I seconded it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you wanted to say something. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Crestview would appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, 2025-078, accepting improvements on the Homestead Acres subdivision. Can I have a motion on this item?
Move to approve resolution 2025-078.
Thank you, Fran. And a second?
Second.
Holly, any discussion on this item? Well, I drove through there, it looks beautiful, by the way. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 78 is approved. So 2025-79, authorizing the termination agreement with EMS Management and Consultants Incorporated that provides billing and collection services for the village. Can I have a motion on this item, please?
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-079.
Thank you,
I'll
Mike.
second. And we
Are we good?
had the new service in line or in
That
place.
was my question. Okay.
Yeah, I think the answer is yes to that, right?
Yeah, he's shaking his head over there.
Yeah, Wally's shaking his head yes.
That's
to-
scheduled to be on the next Committee of the Whole.
Yeah, it'll be on the next one. Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Okay, new business, approval of AP checks. Mr. Wishoff, if you would, please.
Mr. President, I will move to approve AP checks totaling to $2,671,045.67.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
One comment, just so everybody knows, the reason it's so big this month is our third quarter payments to the Racine wastewater utility. That's the big reason. And we had a big payment to the contractor that's developing or setting up our elevated storage tank. Those are the major ones.
We also had, I think, some of our benefits charges hit. Yeah, $12,000 for postage.
Wonderful. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of U.S. Bank credit cards, Mr. Wishoff?
Mr. President, I move credit card charges amount to $54,793.56.
Okay, can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, Nancy. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, item 7C, 2026 budget review. Wayne, did you want to enlighten us on the budget?
Yes, I had distributed new copies of the budget to everybody and the trustees today. It's the new copy of the budget is up online on the website for everyone to look at. It basically takes what we talked about at the last committee of the whole meetings, and then there's a number of adjustments that we've made since that point. 6 revenue adjustments, 14 expense adjustments. Biggest thing in the expense area, health insurance, we had received at this point a premium reduction of 5% for next year, which is incredible, which is a savings of $122,000 to the village.
That never happens. So the rest of you know.
No, it never does.
Never.
It happened last year too.
It did happen last year.
2 years ago.
Yes. Proposing taking a portion of that savings and increasing the employee's health reimbursement account by that 5% also. so that since the employees are the ones where the savings is coming from, we're giving them back a little bit more. So for a single employee, they'd receive an additional $125 in a health reimbursement account. For a family, it'd be an additional $250. There's a number of other expense changes. Some of the larger ones, assessment services increasing by $17,430. Basically, for the last couple of years, we had been getting a reduced rate because of all the changes in the assessment and with Act 12 going in. Now we're back up to Tyler Technologies is charging us the same amount that they were back in 2023. Then there's a number of changes you'll see that are decreases in expenses due to the expenditure restraint that we're under. As you know, the two limiting factors for a budget for a municipality is levy limits and expenditure restraints. We can only increase our expenses each year by the average of our net new construction and the inflation factor. And it was a little bit lower than I was anticipating. These changes we feel are, although we're reducing the expenses, we feel that they're the expenses that are still in the budget are reasonable. There's some things like the fire, the contracted services with a new billing company coming on. There is a savings of 2.5% off of the rate that we currently are paying. So, and there's other items like we're reducing some of the contracted IT costs with hopefully having a new employee starting then next year working in that area. Some of the revenue adjustments, shared revenue, because of that expenditure payment, restraint payment this year, increased another $84,000 over what we were expending. General transportation aids from the state is a tremendously difficult contracted formula. And even though everything from the state said we're increasing the transportation budget by 3.5%, our budget is actually decreasing by $153,000. And how it happens, Ryan and I weren't quite sure, but that's what the letters say from the state, that what we're going to get next year. The other bigger revenue adjustment is the payment for municipal services, reducing the $100,000. So this is purely an accounting transaction because our period of collection for booking a receivable at the year end is 60 days. This is related to the Delgrave Center and billing the Racine County. We will still bill Racine County, but we just won't receive that money until July of 2026. 2020, billing in 26, July of 27.
Yeah.
So it's outside the collection period, so we really shouldn't record that as revenue. Those are the changes that the administration has proposed, so it would be up to your purview to make any other adjustments or questions.
So thank you, Wayne. We'll see this for a vote on November 3.
November 3rd.
That's a Monday.
Correct.
That
It's a special
emergency-
meeting.
Yes.
Special meeting.
Yes, yes.
At
I will not
6?
be here.
Is it a 6 o'clock meeting?
Yep.
Does anybody have any questions of Wayne? Mr.
Yep.
Wishaw?
November, that's news to me. I'm not even going to be in town.
have enough-
Since when do we do meetings on a Monday night?
Well,
the
we
board.
missed a date.
Why can't we do this Tuesday night?
Requires publication of 15 days prior to a public hearing, and that publication deadline was set.
Okay,
So just
that's
a
not what
point
we
of
had on the original
clarification.
plan, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, no,
Let
just a
it
point of
go,
clarification.
Let it
Lee.
go. I do have one question in the budget. I'm still a little skeptical of this one. We said we were going to hire an IT technician to
Yeah.
take over some of OnTech's duties. I'm willing to go along with it, and you did send me a task list. That's great, but I want to see a development plan. My experience has been, if we don't do that, then the transition will be haphazard and we won't get it done very well. I need to see a development plan with benchmark milestones as to when we anticipate this person taking over the tasks on that list, especially the ones that, but I'll leave it at that. We need a development plan. So if you need help understanding what I'm trying to get to there, let me know and I can stop in. But in my experience, if we don't do that, the whole thing doesn't work very well, and we'll end up paying on tech when we should be paying our own people to do this.
Probably.
Thank you.
I don't know, ask Jen. You probably.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, Todd,
So
yeah.
I might give you a little bit of clarification. The public hearing is on November 3rd, or would be on November 3rd. The vote would happen at the following village
Okay.
board meeting.
All
So
right,
there
thank
is
you.
no vote that night. It is just the public hearing.
I thought that was the resolution to approve it. wasn't that? Sorry if I misunderstood.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, we,
Do you have enough board members on the 3rd? Because I can't be
Yes,
here
I have.
either. Okay.
I don't think it's meant for us to vote that night, because we usually do it at a board meeting.
The issue is timing wise. So I think the next board meeting would be November 11th. By the 15th, I have to have levy information to the Racine County so they can generate the tax bills. So it doesn't give a lot of time.
Go ahead with it. I just won't be able to be here to vote on November 3rd.
Okay, but you're saying we're not voting on November 3rd. It's
No,
just a
now they
public
say we
hearing.
are.
Oh, wait.
We would appreciate it if you would vote on November 3rd to allow us the time to,
After public input.
after the public hearing, yes. So that we have enough time to get the levy information together, all these special assessments, and get all that information to the county.
I understand the timing, and it got compressed because how did this happen?
Everything got compressed because of the server upgrade and issues that we ran into, last month. We lost 2 weeks.
We got new servers, and it was offline when it shouldn't have been offline, and things got condensed.
Okay.
I mean, you can explain more, but I mean, I think it was not a solvable problem. It was something we just had to deal with, and that caused some delays.
Thank you, Fran. Are we gonna have a quorum on November 3rd?
Yes.
I have received at least 4 responses.
Mike, you good?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Nancy, you good on
Yes.
the 3rd? Mr. Wishaw, you're not?
I'll try, but I'm going to be on the road for about 10 hours that day, so
I
I
will
doubt it.
not be, I will be here.
I will not be able to be that.
I will be.
that day.
I can.
Okay, so we do have a quorum. All right, very good. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Wayne. So we will adjourn the.
5 minutes.
Slow down, girl. We'll adjourn the village board meeting and we'll take a 5-minute recess and go into the committee of the whole.